Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I'm the last one, and today we've Snapshot 21w08a, which makes a few more changes to the underground, including some more caves, and a handful of new blocks, including those new ore variants you see to my right, as well as smooth basalt, and replacing grimstone with deepslate. As I just mentioned, grimstone has been replaced with deepslate. Not only was it renamed to deepslate, but also, Deepslate has a couple of texture differences from Grimstone. If you look very closely at Deepslate, you might notice that the texture is a tad bit lighter than Grimstone. It's not much, it's barely noticeable, but it is a change. But the bigger change is, of course, if you look at the top of Deepslate, you'll notice that Deepslate actually has a smooth top. A very big difference from Grimstone. But if you mine Deepslate with a pickaxe that does not have silk touch on it, you'll get cobbled deepslate, which has that side texture on the top. You'll need cobbled deepslate if you want to make any of the slabs, stairs, or walls with deepslate in it, as the regular deepslate does not have any of these variants. Additionally, you'll now need cobbled deepslate if you want to make a furnace, any of the stone tools, or a brewing stand, using deepslate as a substitute for stone. Here are what all the deepslate blocks look like with their slight texture changes. These blocks have also been given some new sounds. Except the cobbled deepslate slab. For some reason, Mojang doesn't like that. Another major change to the deep is that andesite will no longer generate under Y level 0. Instead, you'll now have patches of tuff that generate all around. In case you're wondering, deepslate can still be replaced with moss in this snapshot, but so can tuff now. There's no need to be worried though about mistaking a normal tuff patch for an amethyst geode, because amethyst geodes no longer generate with tuff on the outside. Instead, they generate with a new block, smooth basalt, which can only be obtained from amethyst geodes or from smelting basalt in a furnace. Now, this new change was made to amethyst geodes to make them more realistic. On top of that though, amethyst geodes will no longer generate free-floating in the middle of a cave. Back to smooth basalt for a bit. It's a bit weird seeing smooth basalt added now in 1.17 when basalt and polished basalt were just added in 1.16, the nether update, and they only spawn in the nether, while smooth basalt only ever spawns in the overworld. Though this is because, as I mentioned before, for realism purposes, to make amethyst geodes more realistic. But usually we wouldn't expect something like this to happen. The realism reason is also probably why smooth basalt looks different from its other smooth block counterparts. Notably, its texture is less smooth than these other blocks. Speaking of smooth blocks, I think it's also possible that deepslate might be getting a smooth block counterpart, since the top and bottom texture of deepslate are smooth, and that might make good for a block with that texture on all sides. On to structures, the abandoned mineshaft is once again getting a change. Due to the addition of log supports and chain supports in the past two snapshots, abandoned mineshafts can now generate out in the middle of the cave because they'll always be supported by either chains or log pillars. So now, you'll no longer see any abandoned mineshafts that are broken up by noise cave generation. This snapshot has also made some significant cave changes. Notably, smaller Carver caves and ravines can now generate below Y level 0, meaning they'll generate with deepslate around them. Because of this, the underground will have larger cave networks than it did before. Carver caves have also gotten some changes, notably they'll have more variety now. Since Carver caves can now generate to the bottom of the world again, lava lakes have also been reintroduced, though they'll only actually generate in these smaller Carver caves. If you go into a larger noise cave, you'll notice that lava lakes still do not generate. Due to the addition of more smaller caves, dungeons are a bit more common than before, though not quite as common as they were before the cave changes. Another new terrain feature is cracks. Cracks are a lot like ravines, except they're much slimmer and deeper. Cracks are going to be a very serious hazard because they're a lot harder to spot than ravines, and since they're deeper, they're more dangerous and deadly. As a matter of fact, some cracks are so deep you can fall well over 100 blocks at certain points, which is way into Deepslate territory. Yeah, that was a pretty extreme fall. These new caves do have some problems though, like these caves over here, which became so thin they broke apart into just several different air pockets instead of being one continuous cave. Then there are issues like this floating lava here, or this floating lava over here, or even all this floating lava over here. And yeah, this probably is not supposed to happen. Now the last big change of the snapshot has been to ores, once again. Some of the ores have been once again retextured, notably gold, iron, redstone, lapis, copper, and emerald. Gold ore has been made to be visually distinct from nether gold ore, since they do different things. Mining nether gold ore gives you gold nuggets back, while mining any of the overworld gold ore gives you the block itself back. Additionally, some of the ores have been given Deepslate variants, but only for the ores that actually generate that deep, which is only gold, iron, redstone, diamond, and lapis. The ore part of the texture in the front ground has not changed that much between these and the regular stone variants, but some of the pixels have been brightened, and for some reason the gold ore has a couple of extra pixels on the side. Overall, I think these texture changes are pretty positive because most of the ores now look better. Especially redstone, it no longer looks as flat. And gold, it has some starry-like appearance, which is pretty neat. Whenever ores generate now, wherever they would replace Deepslate, they instead spawn with their Deepslate variant, as you can see with this iron and this gold here. But, for some reason, wherever they replace Tough, they still generate with their stone variant. Lapis ore is the exception though. For some reason, due to a bug, Lapis never generates with its Deepslate variant. Once again, there have also been ore distribution changes, though they're not as drastic as last snapshot. Here you can see a comparison of the first iteration and second iteration of ore distribution changes in 1.17. At first it might seem that the use of triangles now in the second iteration to represent the distribution of ores is significant. But if we look at each chart's representation of the ore distribution in Minecraft 1.16, it becomes apparent that the lapis ore also changed shapes to a triangle, meaning that the use of triangles in this new chart is likely not significant, it's just a visual change. What is significant though is the changes in ore distribution to the bottom of the world. Right here, an extra distribution of iron ore was added. If we zoom in, we can see what the three major changes are to ore distribution for this snapshot. As is now legible, we can see that iron ore gives an extra distribution of smaller blobs around the bottom of the world in addition to the distributions that it already had. But those are funnily enough bugged, and there will be a 21w08b snapshot coming out soon to fix that. The second and third major change is for diamond and gold ore. Both of them will be generating with less exposure to air. Basically what this means is while you can still find them in dry caves, you'll find a little bit less of them. If you go strip mining or you go into an aquifer, you'll find slightly more. Those were all the major changes of this snapshot. And once again, I was using night vision because it can be quite dark in these caves down here. But that's all I've got for now. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. If you liked this video, make sure to check out some of my previous videos, and make sure to come back next time for my next video. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye. Let me just smelt these up. Unbelievable.